Marty Sherman and George from the Sawmill. It's our anniversary. We're celebrating with our biggest sale ever. Here's your chance to really save on quality wood furniture. Here's just a few of the special values.
Solid oak tables, $200 off. Sofa and love seat, only $7.95. Solid oak bedrooms, 20% off while they last.
Don't miss this sale. Anniversary 85 at the Sawmill now. Oakland, Pleasant Hill, and Dublin.
Where quality grows on trees.
You've been watching Revenge of the Dragon. Monday night, Betty Davis and Susan Hayward star in Where Love Has Gone. Right here, of course, on TV 44, the movie station. Have a good weekend.
You can be sure that you're growing old gracefully when everything is paid for. You can be sure you're growing old gracefully when you've reached the metallic age. You know, gold in your teeth, silver in your hair, and lead in your pants. You can be sure you're growing old gracefully when you can remember when your wife said, you're only interested in one thing, and now you can't remember what that one thing was. You can be sure you're growing old gracefully when your legs buckle, but your belt won't. Or when your wife tells you to pull in your stomach and you already have. And when the only thing you can really sink your teeth into is a glass of water. And when you consider weightlifting just getting up on your feet. You can be sure that you're growing old gracefully when you can remember when boobs referred to the dumbest kids in the class. You can be sure you're growing old gracefully when you play a slot machine in Las Vegas and instead of cherries, 3 prunes come up. You can be sure you're growing old gracefully if you knew you were going to live this long, you would have taken better care of yourself. You can be sure you're growing old gracefully when your back goes out more than you do. And when you can remember when it took longer to fly across the country than it did to get to the airport. You acknowledge middle age, and you have more middle than age. And the candles on your birthday cake set off the smoke alarm. And you can remember when radios plugged into the wall and toothbrushes didn't. You can be sure you're growing old gracefully when you wake up each day with a daily dozen and go to bed each night with a daily doesn't. And you can be sure you're growing old gracefully when you can recall when shopping on time meant getting to the store before it closed. And you feel that being 55 is like driving 55. Everybody seems to be passing you by. And you remember when it costs more to buy a car than to park it. And, of course, you know you're growing old gracefully when you're comfortable with God. I was reflecting on growing up and growing old the other day. Have you noticed everything is so much farther away than it used to be? I mean, it's twice as far to the corner, and they've added a hill, I've noticed. I've given up running for the bus as it leaves faster than it used to. It seems to me they're making stairs steeper than they used to in the old days. And have you noticed the smaller print they now use in the newspaper? There's no sense asking anyone to read aloud. Everyone talks so softly you can hardly hear them. And material in dresses and pants is so skimpy now, especially around the waist and hips. It's almost impossible to reach your shoelaces. I've noticed that basketball courts and tennis courts and shopping malls are uphill, both ways. Even people are changing. They're so much younger than they used to be when I was their age. On the other hand, people my own age are so much older than I am. I ran into an old classmate the other day, and he'd aged so much he didn't even recognize me. Well, I got to thinking about the poor guy while I was combing my hair this morning, and in doing so, I glanced at my own reflection. Confound it, they don't make good mirrors like they used to either. May this be for you A year of growing. Growing in wisdom. Growing in age. Growing in grace. Before God and others. With love. And growing.
This concludes our programming for today. We welcome any comments you may have regarding our programming. KBHK-TV Channel 44 is located at 420 Taylor Street, San Francisco, with our transmitter atop Mount Sutro. KBHK-TV is a member of the Association of Independent Television Stations. TV 44 is owned and operated by UTV of San Francisco, Inc. Some of today's programming has been mechanically reproduced. TV 44 wishes you a pleasant good night and good morning. And now, our national anthem.